This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Encompass Health, Rehabilitation Hospital of New England. North Shore Community College. If you have the will to attend college, we have the way for you to earn your degree. And Leo Inc., your local community action agency.
Happy fall and welcome to LCTV News. Transitioning from Halloween to other holidays, there are still plenty of activities to keep residents busy and entertained. Grants are being distributed to organizations across the city for projects ranging from storytelling to infrastructure. The Lowdown turned the spotlight to the 12th annual Celebrate Literacy Day, taking place on November 16th. Here is the news for Friday, November 3rd, 2023. The 2024 fiscal year cycle of the Community One Stop for Growth saw $164 million go to 338 development projects in 161 communities. Lynn was one of those recipients, as 6 local programs received funding. The Brownsfield Redevelopment Fund was granted $100,000 and will be utilized by the city to evaluate potentially hazardous materials or environmental issues at the Lynn Multi-Services Center. The Lynn Music Foundation, in collaboration with the Lynn Museum, got $81,000 to improve the Lynn Arts Building through the Collaborative Workspace program. $270,000 was given under the Housing Choice Grant for Lynn to review their zoning code. 2 projects were funded with the Urban Agenda Grant Program at $100,000 apiece. Roca Inc. will use their share to fund the Community Employment Readiness Project, with the Lynn Partnership using their piece to support small business owners, mainly from minority backgrounds. The largest grant being given is $2.4 million through the Mass Works Infrastructure Program to improve the intersection of Broad Street at Washington and Spring Street. Agents from the FBI, Massachusetts State Police, and Lynn Police were on scene for several hours on Wednesday afternoon, conducting what appeared to be a raid at 363 Broadway. According to neighbors, officials appeared to be searching the home and vehicles, and they saw one man being detained. Police have been seen at that residence in the past, and one neighbor suspected them of drug trafficking for years, but did not believe it was to this scale. A spokesperson for DA Paul Tucker's office said there will be an arraignment associated with the incident, while Lieutenant Rick Connick from LPD said the department did not have an update on the afternoon of the 1st. In their last Final Friday celebration of 2023, Lynn Museum Lynn Arts held a trick-or-treat event at Frederick Douglass Park on October 27th. Families came out to enjoy a night of fun while also connecting with local organizations through resource tables. Take a look.
Welcome to Final Friday. It is our last Final Friday of the season. It is our trick-or-treat. This is our 3rd annual celebration, welcoming Lynn families to have a fun time ahead of Halloween, to safely trick-or-treat in the community, learn about the different organizations and resources that we have, but most of all, have fun.
I believe that the trick-or-treat installment of Final Friday is very important because we do a lot of family-friendly events here at the Lynn Museum, and I think it's really important we can give space for families to, activate local areas, give places for the kids to have fun, and even just look into the local organizations, see how you can get opportunities from them.
We created Final Fridays in 2020 because we recognized, Lynn obviously was a community that was extremely challenged during that time. and we really wanted to utilize our outdoor space, before Frederick Douglass Park even existed, to give people a space to gather. In October, we happened to do a trick-or-treat. The kids and the families that did come just truly treasured it, and we just decided, we have to keep it going year after year, and it's grown with each year, not only in terms of the number of families that we serve, but of course the number of community organizations that participate.
I think it's really great that we can have organizations like LEO, DCF, for our artworks, active members in the community that, like I said, are always aiming to bring more resources to families. I think it's nice when we can have them in spaces where it is mainly family friendly and a lot of parents are bringing their children. They can just talk to them for like 5-10 minutes, and before you know it, it can change their life.
Downtown is such a thriving and wonderful place, and so it's great to remind people that there's so many things that happen in downtown, and this is just one of many. So please come out, get to know your city, show some love to your city, and just have a good time.
The Expand Mass Stories initiative for Mass Humanitarians awarded grants to 42 cultural nonprofits, with Lynn's own United Pride as one of the recipients. With their $20,000 grant, they are creating Through a Rainbow Lens, in collaboration with several other organizations and individuals from Lynn and surrounding communities. Still in the early phases, United Pride is researching the city's LGBTQ+ history through memorabilia, photographs, oral histories, and other items from LGBTQ+ residents and those who have made a significant impact on that community. The plan is to host a series of forums and post the project on United Pride's website, with the work being preserved for future generations at the completion of the project. According to United Pride's Executive Director, Christian Racinos, quote, "I think this grant is a great opportunity for United Lynn Pride in advancing its mission of supporting the LGBTQ+ community in Lynn by sharing this history. We're hoping to collect stories from long-lived members of the community, people with diverse backgrounds that reflect the community of Lynn, folks who feel that they have interesting and important experiences that relate to the project that they'd like to share," end quote. Anyone interested in participating should contact United Lynn Pride. First Church of the Nazarene held a fall festival on Saturday, October 28th, as a way to bring the community together and connect with their neighbors. Their hope is people will begin seeing the church as an ally and part of the community as a whole.
So we're having what we call a fall festival, where we're giving out food bags, small bags of food. There are free raffles, things for the kids to do, and we have sugar scrubs, just things for the community to come, say hi, get to know us, that we're here. We've been here a long time, just to let the community know that we're here, that we're part of the community too. I feel like a lot of times the community doesn't realize that the church is an ally for things, or well, sometimes they do. Like we have an emergency food share table that Eileen runs. We give out food for people in need because COVID hit people hard, and you're still seeing the ramifications of that. We know that young people aren't coming to church right now. We know that the numbers have continued to decline. So how do we reach those people? By having events like this and welcoming them in. I love relationship because it's relationships that changes people's lives. I have some people that stop by that live right down the street. Now, if we didn't have this event, there goes John right there and Carol Ann, I would not have known that they were right down the street. They would never have met me. Now, whether they walk through the doors of the church or not, you know what? They don't have to. But we know that we're a community. This is the neighborhood that we're all existing in. And so even if we just come together for events like this, it's great because now we know each other.
Mark Feldman has taught at Lynn Public Schools for 23 years and was teaching a freshman English class at Classical High until he went on medical leave this year due to an end-stage kidney disease. According to his wife, Jacqueline Feldman, he has had the disease for a decade, first developing it as a side effect from a medication for an unrelated ailment. However, his health has been declining and his symptoms getting worse over the past year despite lifestyle changes. They are down to two options, a kidney transplant or dialysis. A transplant is preferred as it would extend his life, while dialysis has a less certain outcome and he would have to be on it for the rest of his life. Jacqueline is ineligible as a donor, so they are turning to the community to ask for help and a potential donor. If anyone is interested, they are encouraged to call Julie Hogan at Square Knot Health. Keeping on the holiday theme, the first annual Halloween Spooktacular was held at the Lynn Public Library on Monday, October 30th. Kids were given the opportunity to make masks, collect candy at various spots in the library, and even get a tour of the stacks, located in the oldest part of the building.
So my name is Lindsay, and I am the head of adult circulation.
And Spooktacular creator.
And this is Teresa. She is the chief librarian director of the Lynn Public Library. So this was our first annual family Halloween Spooktacular. A haunted house was something I had played around with for a little bit, but this is the year that we finally decided to go through. So this afternoon after school, we had welcomed children to come in and make masks and trick or treat throughout the entire library. And we also added the element of the haunted stacks, which are really haunted by Ruth, who was a librarian here at the library. So we wanted to kind of feature Ruth a little bit. So we had one of our librarians dress as Ruth and kind of scare the kiddies on their way out, but there's a lot of cobwebs and pests and bones and limbs and things like that, just spooky things to scare the kids.
So the library was built in 1900, so we're 123 years old, and this is one of the oldest parts of the building. As you can see, there's glass floors, and we use a lot of this as storage. But the thing is Ruth, an old librarian, haunts the stacks, so let's see if we can find her.
Generally, for Halloween, we don't have too much other than handing out candy when kids kind of come through, so we wanted to build on that a little bit and thought that, a lot of people do ask about Ruth the Ghost and her being here, so that was really the inspiration behind actually putting together a haunted house in the stacks. And a shout out to the Friends of the Lynn Public Library for sponsoring this event. If you'd like to join the Friends, stop in the library anytime. But obviously, we'd like to shout out to all of our wonderful patrons and staff for helping make it possible.
Concerned Citizens of Lynn is continuing their annual tradition of collecting toys, clothes, and more for families in need this holiday season. This is their biggest project of the year, personally wrapping and delivering over 6,000 gifts last year, and they are looking to increase that number this year. CCOL is looking for donations of new unwrapped toys, toiletries, pajamas, and food, which can be dropped off at 30 Red Rock Street. Monetary donations are also accepted through check, PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App. A unique element of their drive is they do not set an age limit because they want all kids to be included, whether they're 6 or 16. The drive runs through the holiday season, and if residents have questions, they can reach out via email or Facebook. For the flyer and additional information, visit lyntv.org. The installation of 4 new pickleball courts at Clark Street Park was celebrated with a ribbon cutting this past Wednesday the 1st. The mayor, city officials, and pickleball players were in attendance to mark the occasion and express their support for the new courts, which are used not only by Lynn residents, but people traveling from Gloucester and Boston.
Nice shot! Nice shot!
Lynn city officials held a ribbon cutting on Wednesday, November 1st to celebrate the opening of new pickleball courts over at Clark Street Playground. According to Community Development Director James Marsh, the total cost of the project came out to $145,000, which was paid through ARPA funds. Mayor Nicholson stopped by and spoke about the new courts and what they mean to the Lynn community.
I just want to say that we are so excited to be here. The court looks amazing, and I want to thank each of you for all your advocacy to help get us here. All the players, all the friends, all the supporters. It's just a great example of what happens when folks come together and have a vision, and people are in place to help make it a reality.
3, 2, 1. Open.
For LCTV News, I'm Josh Englander.
Tuesday, November 7th, is the final election for Counselor at Large, Ward Councilors, and School Committee, and LCTV has you covered. Polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. If you're unsure where the polling location is in your ward, visit lyntv.org/elections for an interactive map. The community can also read candidate bios and watch forums through links on the website. Wards 1, 2, and 4 are contested, with candidates in all other wards running unopposed. For the school committee, there are 12 candidates and only 6 spots, while 8 threw their hat in the ring for the 4 counselor-at-large positions. LCTV will also have live election coverage beginning at 8 p.m. the night of the election, which can be watched on cable, lyntv.org, or on Facebook. On deck, the sports update. Tristan Smith led the St. Mary's boys track team to a historic season as they went undefeated in dual meets and won the Catholic Central for the first time in school history. Smith was hired back in 2018 as an assistant coach before taking the reins in 2020. All the hard work by him, his staff, and students has paid off, with Smith being named Coach of the Year by the MIAA for boys indoor track. According to Smith, his favorite part of coaching is seeing the student-athlete growth, and he hopes this award will bring attention to Lynn track as a whole. St. Mary's football finished the season at 6-2 and are ranked 12th in the MIAA's Division VI power rankings. They ended the year on a high note, beating conference rival Archbishop Williams 40-28 at home. The Spartans went into the half up 19-0 and never gave up the lead. On the flip side, Lynn English dropped the regular season finale, falling to Medford 16-9 at home. They finished the year at 2-6, with both their wins coming on the road, 28-6 over Revere back in September, and 20-6 against Somerville last week. Lynn Tech did not fare any better as they dropped their 4th consecutive game 30-0 to the Whittier Wildcats. In 3 of their last 4 losses, the Tigers have allowed opponents to score 30 or more points. They started the year on a promising note, going 3-1, but have dropped the last 4 games of the season. KIPP's game against Manchester Essex was compared to a tennis match, with all the back-and-forth scoring. A 41-40 final gave the Hornets the win, hurting the Panthers' chances of capturing a league title. Despite the loss, KIPP remains the 7th seed and will play 10th-ranked Sutton in Division VIII playoff football. In a game to crown the Greater Boston League champion, the Everett Crimson Tide was the victor over Lynn Classical 43-12. From the beginning, the Crimson Tide overpowered the Rams, creating more chances on offense, including a 2-touchdown third quarter. In both boys and girls cross country, the Spartans finished 4th in the Catholic Central Championship on the 29th. Kyle Kwatek won the regular season MVP, but chose to give his award to runner-up Bishop Stang's Lowell Cups, who won the race that day. Lynn Tech Volleyball increased the record to 14-5, downing intercity rival St. Mary's 3-1. Maria Grossux led the way with 23 digs, 5 aces, and 3 kills. In playoff news, the 34th-ranked Spartans rebounded to take down the 34th-seeded Watertown 3-1. St. Mary's was down 2-1, but came all the way back, winning the next 3 sets. St. Mary's and Linfield boys soccer battled to a 1-1 tie in the 28th, with all scoring being done in a 2-minute span in the second half. The Spartans are 12-2-3 and currently sitting in the 15th position in the Division III power rankings, which should give them a home game in postseason play. KIPP took down Lynn Tech 2-1 under the lights on the 30th. The game was scoreless through the first half, but the Panthers scored early in the second to take and retain the lead for the win. At 2-6, the Pats have a better chance of getting a high draft pick than advancing to the playoffs. The Miami Dolphins beat them for the second time this season, 31-17. Despite the score, New England did have the chance to tie the game, but they gave up a score with just over 2 minutes remaining to seal the deal. The Boston Bruins continue their hot streak, moving to 9-1 on a come-from-behind overtime win over the Florida Panthers. What made this victory even sweeter is the Panthers were the ones who eliminated the Bruins in the playoffs last April. A combination of veterans, Pasternak and Marchand, with newcomer Potras, has given them a strong start, but the question on everyone's mind is, can they continue this momentum through the rest of the season, or will it be a repeat of last year's heartbreak? On the Lowdown, we welcome members of the Celebrate Literacy Day Committee and Lynn Hispanic Scholarship Fund to discuss their upcoming Celebrate Literacy event. Awards are given to both individuals and organizations who go above and beyond to improve and increase access to literacy. Here is more from the Lowdown. Good afternoon and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Danny Vittori, and today we have on 3 guests to talk about Celebrate Literacy Day coming up later this month. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
So I'll start off with, go down the line, just introduce yourselves and then your association with the event.
My name is Saritin Rizzuto, and I am co-chair of Celebrate Literacy Day.
Hi, my name is Vicky Riverea. I'm the president of the Lynn Hispanic Scholarship Fund, and we are this year's organizational recipient.
And my name is Nikki Wilson, and I'm the co-chair of Celebrate Literacy Day.
Great. So you're in your 12th year now, which is amazing, but for anyone who maybe doesn't know that much about it, what is the event? Like, what's the significance of it? Anyone can...
Do you want to start with me?
Cool.
Okay. In a nutshell, Celebrate Literacy Day has created what we call the Excellence in Literacy Leadership Awards. And that award recognizes an organization and 2 community members in the community that have an impact on literacy in some way, shape, or form. And then we've created a marvelous event where we come together and our host, our organizational recipient receives the proceeds of that event.
And we've been around for 12 years. We started the event, and it benefited the then Operation Bootstrap. I think it's called now Pathways. And you know, we began with them, and they were actually the recipients for 3 consecutive years. And then we decided, you know, we have a good thing going here, and there are other education type not-for-profit organizations here in Lynn that can use our support, as well as, you know, the attention that we bring and how we create awareness not only about literacy and access to higher education, but most importantly, the work that our local not-for-profit organizations are doing here in Lynn.
And Vicky, I'll ask you, the Lynn Hispanic Scholarship Fund, what is your main goal in the community? Like, what's your role?
Yeah, no, the organization's been around for a really long time. I know I had the joy of coming here earlier last spring, and we are 32 years strong. The goal really is to be able to create pathways for young Latino people from our city to go on to further educate themselves, be it a 4-year school, a 2-year school, a certificate program, licensure, and really the idea is we fundraise, we provide scholarships for high school seniors, and we are really right now in a moment of growth. We want to be able to expand the services that we provide to our young people. Right now, Lynn Public Schools has close to 70% Latino Hispanic students. Even my alma mater, St. Mary's, is at 30% Hispanic Latino, and we've got, you know, with more and more young people coming to our city, we've got a lot more need. Students that are unaccompanied minors, students that, for the most part, are first generation to college, and their families are not knowledgeable about the application and admissions process, and so the idea is we are starting to do, in conjunction, we've just recently partnered with the Lynn Public Library to be able to offer workshops for young people, as well as parents in English and in Spanish, about what the whole college application process is like.
Which is, it's fantastic. And you mentioned too with this event, there's a reason you moved it to November, because it used to be earlier in the year, it used to be earlier in the fall.
Yeah, but we were intentional about moving it to November because it's Literacy Month. And we thought what a great way to put our event inside of that month. And what we recognized in our committee work early on is that we have a lot of great nonprofit organizations and social causes in Lynn and beyond. And a lot of those organizations are kind of stemmed in some form of education, right? And we often think of literacy as reading and fundamentally education, but we also like to widen people's perspective that now we have entrepreneurial literacy, digital literacy, and there's all these forms of literacy that a lot of our nonprofits work on. And I think especially the basis of the event is to raise funds, particularly for, not always, because we're very accessible to the nonprofits, but we really love those grassroots organizations that can really use the funds to further drive those efforts in literacy and really become a leader in the community, even more so than they are.
And the funds we raise are unrestricted funds, so they get to decide how they're going to use the funds, if it's for, you know, expansion, to provide more scholarships in this case. I mean, I can't even imagine having to choose what students you are going to give a sponsorship to when the need is so great here in Lynn. So it is truly an honor to be able to bring community leaders together to organize this type of event and be able to then give the proceeds to organization like the Lynn Hispanic Scholarship Fund.
Grateful. So grateful.
But they deserve it. I mean, you just heard all of the exceptional things that they're doing in this community, and it's really impressive that they do all this as like
all
volunteer run organization.
Do you know what you think you would do with the money, or is that something that you talk about later after the event?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely, you know, historically we've given about $1,000 scholarship to the seniors that get them, and that's nice. You can pay for books, maybe a laptop, maybe, and the idea is really hopefully to be able to you know, either provide more funding to individual students or more scholarships to more kids from that perspective, but also, you know, we want to be able to expand the worldview of young people, and for them to be able to, you know, like maybe we can visit some campuses. You know, transportation is not sexy, but it's something that costs money. And, you know, to be able to really have panels, invite professionals to talk to them, and, you know, young people like to eat. It's a great way to attract them to the programming, and to be able to really give them the guidance through the whole application process and figuring out financial aid, writing essays, and so getting experts sometimes that can also provide those services.
And you just mentioned, as you mentioned before, all the different kinds of literacy. I mean, you just listed probably a dozen different kinds that they're going to be gaining through this. And I have to ask, I probably should have asked before, the event itself, is it open to the public? Are there tickets, like kind of the when and where of it all?
Yes, so we are actually extremely grateful for, you know, you allowing us the platform to engage members of the community and to promote not only the work that Celebrate Literacy Day has been doing for the last 12 years. A lot of people don't necessarily know of like how we operate also as a volunteer-based organization, but you know, to engage the public and bring them on board, we are very fortunate to have the support of, you know, Lynn leaders, elected officials. Our committee alone, planning committee alone, is made up of all women from this community that are leaders in their own rights. I mean, Mickey has brought so much to the table, and since she's been with us, and you know, we're very grateful that this year she's even stepped it up to co-chair the event. Is a lot of work because we do all this as volunteers. So, you know, we're really grateful that you've provided us this platform to educate the community about what organizations like the Lynn Hispanic Scholarship Funds are doing, and to be able to be part of the solution, create awareness, support this organization by buying tickets, buying ads on our program book, sponsoring the event. We've been fortunate enough to have a list of sponsors that join us every year, and you know, it's just a lot of work. But if it wasn't for, you know, organizations like yours that create this platform for us, we wouldn't be able to really be successful at what we're doing with this event.
Yeah, and so we invite the public. You can buy tickets for sure, and I'm sure we'll share where you can buy those tickets. But without collaborations like this one, and we are hosting this event at the Lynn Museum for, I think this is the 3rd year in a row, which is really great because it's the heart of downtown Lynn and the heart of the community and the heart of a lot of these sponsors and the volunteers and the people that attend. So it is Lynn Museum, November 16th from 5:30 to 8 o'clock. And yeah, we will provide a way for you to be able to buy tickets. But this is a great way also for the community to meet more of the people behind the story that we're telling. It's a great way for people to meet Vicky and see and learn more about what's happening behind the scenes of their organization. As Celebrate Literacy Day, we're a volunteer-based group that are passionate about amplifying these stories and elevating our local nonprofits with a platform to be able to help them raise funds and bring it together. So that's what you get a taste of on that night, in addition to great food, great friends, and great fun. So yeah,
I mean, and you know, throughout the year, we've not only recognized the not-for-profit organization doing wonderful work here, and they receive the proceeds of the event, but we also recognize individuals that are doing work behind the scenes that really do wonderful things in this community. And this year's Excellence in Literacy Leadership Award recipients, along with the Lynn Hispanic Scholarship Funds, are Lynn Public School person Amanda Campbell, and also community leader that really has gone above and beyond in this community, and has been a member of the Celebrate Literacy Day Planning Committee since we started. Diana Moreno, everyone knows Diana, and you know, anyone that wants to celebrate a great organization, 2 exceptional leaders in our community, while enjoying, you know, the networking opportunities with other people in this community. Drinks and appetizers, food is all part of your $50 ticket. So, you know, join us. It's an excellent event, and it's easy to buy tickets. I'm pretty sure we're going to provide some information on how to access tickets, but be part of the solution. I mean, really, I feel personally that literacy is like the single most important part of a person's education, and you know, being able to do this work is so rewarding.
And you can tell through the passion and all the hard work that you put into it. And I do have to wrap it up, but I want to thank you again for coming on. We're always glad to provide the platform to show all this amazing work. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Of course, anytime. And once again, I'm Danny Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next week with more guests. Now, the community calendar. In another edition of Second Wednesdays, Lynn Museum Lynn Arts is welcoming Kit Jenkins for their November program titled The Road Less Taken, Walking the Camino de Santiago. Jenkins will be sharing her experiences walking the Camino, a series of 1,000-year-old ancient trails through Portugal and Spain, connecting to the theme, What is your road not taken, and what can you do to begin that journey? It will take place over Zoom and on Facebook Live from 12 to 1 p.m. on November 8th. Grace United Methodist Church is holding a Breakfast with Grace on Saturday the 11th from 9 to 11 a.m. Breakfast is $8 and includes a choice of an omelet, pancakes, or French toast, along with home fries, sausage, tea, and juice. All proceeds will go towards replacing their aging AED machine. Located at 374 Broadway, come by to enjoy a meal for a cause. Beginning Sunday, November 12th, Lynn Tech will be hosting the 9th Annual Festival of Trees at their annex building, 90 Commercial Street. Running from the 12th through the 18th, the hallway will be filled with trees decorated by various organizations and individuals. Viewers can also buy raffle tickets to try and win the trees, with all proceeds going towards scholarships for Lynn Tech students. Public viewing hours are from 12 to 7 on the 12th, 4 to 7 p.m. the 13th through the 17th, and 12 to 6 p.m. on the 18th. Winners will be notified and asked to pick up their trees between 12 and 3 on Sunday the 19th. With that, we are at the end of the news for this week. For live election coverage and up-to-date stories, visit lyntv.org. And subscribe to Lynn Community Television on YouTube for videos, staff, and member content. And follow us on social media at Lynn Community Television for event updates and breaking news. I'm Danny Vittori, this is LCTV News, and we will see you next week.